Hello everybody, this is Joshua Picklesheimer of Augusta University. Today we bring you Season 1, Episode 6 of CavsCast from Augusta Preparatory Day School. We are coming to you from the TVC Lab at Augusta University. Today's CavsCast will look at what's going on with Cavalier baseball. We will talk with Coach Chris Gay and his outstanding pitcher, Sebastian Neve, who also runs track. We will also be talking to senior soccer player Eden Purdy, who also participates in Prep's literary competitions and is acting in the spring musical Into the Woods, as well as Jeannie Williams, who runs the music program at Prep and is the cheerleading coach. Welcome to you all. Thank you for joining me. So we'll start off with Coach Gay. Can you please talk about the season and how it's gone so far and what have been the highlights?
All right. Well, so far it's been an interesting season. We're through 10 games and we're 4-6, and all of them have been on the road. So we have an interesting mix of players. We have 5 seniors and 6 freshmen, 3 juniors, and a sophomore. So you're trying to get the young guys acclimated to what you want to do, and you've got some seniors who, they kind of know what you're doing, but it's always difficult when you have 75% of your team that plays basketball and then you run right into baseball season. So, but we're playing a lot of local teams. We had a very close loss to Richmond Academy a few weeks back. We defeated Cross Creek, and now we're starting to get into our region play and starting to get into our home games. So far, so good.
That's good to hear. So we'll get to Sebastian here in a minute, but who are some of the other players that are standing out in this team?
Well, we'll talk about Sebastian in a second, but we've got a very talented young group of freshmen that we're trying to get together. We've got like Scott Williams played for me last year as an 8th grader, and he's a pitcher, and he's can do a little bit of everything. Got a kid, Chase Jackson, who is a big kid for a freshman, because when I first started 4 years ago, I think I had a 100-pound freshman in left field, a 100-pound freshman in right field, and Chase, I think, is about 165, 170, and plays football, and he's going to just get better and better. I've got Colby Lott has been playing first base, and he's been really good, and Steven Stallings, Logan Sear, Jackson Davis. But got 3 really talented juniors, Fred McDougal, Jack Butler, and my son, JT Gay. They've all been playing really well this year. And like you mentioned, Sebastian. And then I've got some talented seniors as well, Sam Rogers, Jack Grish, Solomon Willis, who came out this year for his first time as a senior, and he's very athletic and very receptive of what we're trying to do, and just a very great kid. I'm glad to have him out. And then Jack McDonald, who's been with me since the freshman year, and unfortunately he's been hurt. So,
well, sounds like you got everybody there. So, let me ask, what's your approach to baseball? Are you like do you lean heavily on homers, or like when it comes to strategy, are you like a bunt and base run? Are you like aggressive on base running? Like what's your strategy when it comes to like the?
I wish we leaned heavily on home runs.
Me too. Wish we could.
Approaches are game by game. A few weeks back, we played at Lincoln County, and we're seeing a lot of first pitch fastballs that we're sitting on. It's like, guys, we need to be aggressive, and some of our guys want to kind of sit back and take a pitch, and sometimes you have to change approaches to how you play. I mean, yeah, you want to bunt some guys over and try to score some runs, but when Sebastian's on the mound, you might not need as many runs, and you might not need to be as aggressive. But I have 2 really outstanding coaches this year. Coach Todd Booker, who's been in the public school system, and he's learned from some of the best, Coach Holder, Coach Lewis, guys like that. And I've got a young coach, a pitching coach, Coach Finland. They've been outstanding. So I've sort of rotated like who's been at third and first. And so this past Saturday we were at Westminster, and I was the third base coach. And I tend to be fairly aggressive. I want guys to – I want them to steal. I want them to score as much as possible. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
That's baseball for you.
Yeah.
So how's region play stacking up for Prep? Who do you need to beat, and what are the big games left on your schedule?
Well, it's weird because last year we had 8 region teams, and the way the GIAA they sort of spread everything out this year, so we only have 2 region opponents. So we've played Edmund twice, and we lost 2 games to them last year. And so this week we played Briarwood last week and lost 2 games. We play Edmund this week, and then we've got 2 games after the Masters, 1 each. So 6 region games. We're 0-2. We got 4 left. So if we can win these 4 games, we're in great shape. So it sort of starts today, and Sebastian's going to pitch probably 3 of the final games. So.
Okay, well, speaking of Sebastian, let's talk about him. What makes him such a good pitcher, and what's his best pitch?
Well, I think that the best thing about Sebastian is his hard work and his dedication. Since his freshman year, I mean, this is a kid that's been working out in the weight room. He's just super dedicated to his craft. He just loves it. I mean, sometimes you get kids out there that don't really maybe really understand and don't really love it. I mean, you have to have a passion for whatever you do, whatever it's playing baseball or playing soccer or being in theater. And if you have that passion, that's going to give you that drive and that sort of inspiration. And Sebastian has that. And so last year, this year, I'm hoping the younger kids can sort of look up to Sebastian and see what he's doing, see he's stretching before the game, see what he's doing. And he's been a captain the past 2 years, and I've wanted him to kind of lead because, teenagers, they're going to tune out the adults, but they're going to listen to their peers. So, Sebastian's just been a hard worker. He's probably the hardest working kid we might have ever had in the program. So.
That's some high praise.
High praise.
Well, and I'll just tag on and say, as a parent of a current player, Sebastian is an awesome role model for the younger boys, and so he steps up in a way that inspires them to do better. So we appreciate that too.
Thank you very much.
Is that something you pride yourself on, Sebastian?
Yes, I try to be an example for pretty much everyone, whether it be in the classroom or on a baseball field. I mean. I'm a big helper. If I ever see someone doing something wrong or there's something they could do better, this is also to a fault because they get annoyed at me sometimes. If I'm like, come on, you can do this a little better. Here's a way you can improve. Here's something you maybe shouldn't do. Just stop, leave me alone. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'll tune it down a little bit. But I like to try to be very involved with everyone on the team.
That's great. So what position does Sebastian play when he's not pitching?
Sebastian's our center fielder, and he's he's arguably the best, I think, one of the best outfielders in our area. He moves really well. He's always been a great outfielder. Even his freshman year, we played at Augusta Christian, and I had an umpire come up to me and tell me that how good he was as a center fielder. So when I pull him off the mound, you want to try to save his arm as much as possible. So I'll move him to first base, but center field and pitcher, outfield.
That's what I plan to do in college. I'll be a 2-way. The offer is a 2-way, so I'll be a center fielder, hopefully a center fielder, at least an outfielder, and then a pitcher as well.
Future Michael Harris right there.
Good, I'll do 2 as long as I can.
So let's talk about Sebastian as a hitter. We were talking about him as a hitter beforehand. So what's his average and what's his strengths and weaknesses as a hitter? What does he bring to the team?
Well, Sebastian was an all-state player last year, sort of combo pitcher, center fielder, and he led us. He set I believe, off the top of my head, he set 6 school records, single-season school records last year. Just had a monster year offensively. He, after the season, at our little wrap-up baseball party, I kind of joked with him that my son had the season record for runs until Sebastian scored 4 more runs than him. So, but yeah, he hit something like 585 last year. And so anyway, we're starting to get into the groove of it. Early, it's cold. Not everybody comes out of the box hot. Sebastian's been sort of up and down a little bit offensively, and I think he'll tell you that as well. So we're not quite there yet. Not everybody's. We're still trying to click as a team. But anytime he goes to the plate, I'm sort of expecting something special, which that might be just sky high expectations. But
it's an expectation I'd like to put on myself. So I think that's fair.
But he hit one Saturday, which I thought was going to be a home run against Westminster, and I guess maybe it's a little cooler, the weather a little warmer, maybe it goes out, but he hit a deep shot, and he had a nice triple against Richmond late in the game that kind of helped spark a late rally that gave us a brief lead. And but offensively, he's been a great player. And if there's one thing I want to say is, like, we're so fortunate at Augusta Prep to have had Sebastian all 4 years. He was at Prep in middle school, and as a baseball program, sometimes we lose kids who have talent because there's so much competition at other schools. You have other schools they don't focus as much on academics as they focus on athletics, and we're fortunate that Sebastian focused on academics and athletics. And so as a coach, I'm grateful to have had him for 4 years.
That's awesome. I was about to ask you how'd you find out about him, but it sounds like you've known him since middle school. So since you've known him since middle school, did you know that he was going to be a star pitcher for your team since then?
So I've been at Augusta Prep for 5 years and started helping out a little bit with the baseball program. I sort of knew of Sebastian Neve, but my first year when he was a freshman, we went on the road and played this really great team that had a ton of seniors, Bethlehem Christian. And I gave him the ball. I was like, you're going to start the season.
Chaotic.
And it probably scared the mess out of him. But the point of that is, I like starting these kids as freshmen, or, like Scott Williams as a freshman for me this year. He pitched in several games last year against some really good teams. I want these kids to get experience as freshmen so that when they're juniors and seniors, hopefully they'll feel more comfortable and not be intimidated when they play some of these teams. So, but yeah, we joke about that first game against Bethlehem Christian. It wasn't very pretty, but hopefully he learned and got better from it.
It's probably why I don't play shortstop anymore. That's what we'll say.
All right, so we'll shift the focus more towards just you now, Sebastian. So how's your season going so far, and what do you think has been your best game?
It's going pretty well. I would say, like Coach Gay said, offense I've taken a little off. Last year was my big recruitment year for college, so that was a big push in the off season and a big really focus into both sides of the game during my high school season. So now that I'm recruited, I'll admit this probably isn't what you're supposed to do, but I've taken a little bit of that drive off the approach at the plate, which I am now realizing I'm putting right back into it. And it's been pretty good. Pitching has been probably more my strength this season. In college, I'll probably try to lean that way as well. Pitching seems to be more I think more like a pitcher. As a batter, you're not supposed to think. You're supposed to turn your brain off and just react, just do. I struggle a little bit with that, so I really focus on pitching. You do have to turn your brain off a little bit, but you can kind of outsmart batters. And then my best game this year was probably on the mound against ARC. Had really good fastball that game. Velo was there, arm was live, body was feeling good. Had a lot of energy coming from the dugout. That helped a lot. Had 12 Ks, not a lot of hard contact, hit well. Had some, like Coach Gay said, had a good triple at the end there, get our team going, maybe little lead, and we went from there. Not the result we wanted, but it was a great effort by the team.
Awesome. So I heard you talking about your pitches were alive. What's your best pitch to throw?
I've been pretty good this year with first pitch strikes, so I really get ahead with everyone at high school level. Outside fastball is the hardest pitch for them to hit. I normally start off with that first pitch strike if I can get ahead. I've started really coming on to a split finger, so when I have two strikes, it's pretty nasty. It'll go straight as a nail about 80% of the way there, and then it'll just fall off the table. A little bit of run on it too, so I get a lot of ground balls, a lot of weak contact, and a lot of swing and misses. Not a lot of takes because it looks like a meatball, but there's a lot of weak contact on it. So I'd say that's probably my best pitch. Still dialing in mix of a slider and a cutter. My the team calls it a slutter. It's quite the pitch, but we're working on it. Good. I'm trying to add a fourth pitch because 3 pitches isn't gonna fly in college. So But I'd say split finger is probably my best out pitch right now.
That's definitely a good one. So you were talking about college earlier. So you've chosen to continue your career at Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee.
Sure.
So why did you choose Rhodes? And I guess a little bit more on the academic side. What's your major going to be there?
Yeah, so I chose Rhodes because I wanted a small school like Augusta Prep. Mm-hmm. So one of the other reasons I stayed at Augusta Prep, besides how great the academics were and the baseball program, was because it was very personalized. So you could really build a connection with teachers, build relationships with your friends. You don't see them once a day during break because you're all in 35 people classes. So I really was looking for that small school vibe. I wanted to stay somewhere fairly warm, fairly close. Rhodes is about 7 hours away. It's not too far. It's not like over a day or anything. Their baseball program is great. They're Division III. They're in the Southern Athletic Association SAA conference. Really good competition. They're playing the best Division III teams in the country. They're nationally ranked this year. They almost made it to the World Series last year, 3 outs away from going to the World Series. And their ace closer didn't have his day, but they're really strong with baseball. Nice and small. Area's great. And academically, I will be majoring in probably environmental studies, and also looking down the pre-med track, because in high school I've been enjoying anatomy, biology. I've always liked the sciences. So I'm either going to be pursuing pre-med or environmental studies.
Yeah, and I want to say Rhodes College is getting a really good athlete, student athlete. I mean, he's a very smart kid. But, in recent years, the COVID years that these kids are getting and the transfer portal has really made things tough for players like Sebastian and really every high school athlete. To get looks, because there are fewer and fewer opportunities. So what you're seeing is more and more kids probably sort of, you hate to say trickle down, but that talent is sort of trickling down to Division II and Division III. And I really believe, we're looking at March Madness for basketball and you're seeing all these Division I's, but there's more schools than that. And I don't know how much kids realize that, but Division III is getting a ton of talent. And so, at least from a baseball standpoint, you're going to see better and better talent going in this year and probably next year as well. And so, you wouldn't think that they would get as good a talent, but I think, if you can just play college baseball anywhere, that's a major feather in your hat.
Yeah, I'd like to say that college sports, whether it be, what level, there's D2 teams that'll smash D1 teams, and there's D1 teams that'll, beat everyone else. But it's definitely something that a lot of young, impressionable kids are like, oh, I'm only going to play college sport if it's at some Power 5 Division I team. When, there might be things that hinder that. Could be COVID. It could just be the reality that that's not your ceiling. And just getting to college, I think, for everyone that's going is really impressive. Good for them, especially with COVID recently has just jammed the transfer portal. There have been schools I've been in touch with where they said, half our recruiting class is open, send us your info, and then they say, 8 of those guys we're getting from the transfer portal, so we're not gonna invest in a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 4-year guy. We want 1-year guy that's already 23 that's gonna, crush it for a year.
Mm-hmm. I think pretty much at the end of every season, no matter what's football, basketball, baseball, you always see close to 1,000 kids are entering the transfer portal the second the season's over. So that's definitely a problem. But another question: when did you start baseball?
Ooh, let's see. I started baseball back when I lived in Oklahoma when I was 3. My parents were here. My parents are polo players, so we had a farm out there, and I would, being a young kid running all over the farm, I'd have some toys like little football, baseball, soccer ball. My dad first started throwing a softball with me, and the first 3 throws he ever threw me hit me straight in the forehead because I didn't know.
Now we know what's wrong.
Yeah, now we know, but I didn't know you were supposed to use your glove, and that was, believe it or not, my intro to baseball. But I fell in love with it. I've always liked sports, and baseball was just, it's kind of the American pastime. Everyone in my area played baseball. A great little t-ball league. I always joke that I peaked in t-ball because in t-ball I think I had a 12 home run year. Was offered to play like 4 years up on a kid pitch team, which from t-ball to kid pitch is a giant jump. But it was fun. Starting out when I was really young. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you don't just play baseball. You also run track. So talk about that and like what events do you do?
Yeah. So track this year has been a blast. I've always been pretty fast. Just naturally, I've been blessed with a little bit of speed. And I wanted to really boost that as much as I can because everyone in college is really fast. You're not going to find, I mean, occasionally you're going to find the first baseman that hits the ball 700 feet but can't run, and you need to be quick, especially for an outfielder. So center fielder, there's the thing everyone cares about is the 60 time in baseball. Like, what's your 60? That's just the judgment of how fast you are. And so my 60 time when I first ever ran it was about 7 seconds. Which isn't bad, but if you're trying to go and get recruited, you need to be under 6'9". And so I did some speed training with some really great trainers that I've been really fortunate to work with. And that sort of led me to try track. And I wanted to do track to get faster for baseball. And I'm running the 100, the 4x1, and I recently ran the 400. Not by my choosing, but it was fun. It was fun about 10 minutes after, not 5 minutes after. But it's been a good experience, and I'm really enjoying the sport and the team, and it's fun. Track's a lot more fun than I actually expected it to be, so it was a happy surprise.
That's cool. So I guess this question could be for you or Ian. So I went to private school and played y'all all the time, so I heard this as well. So Prep has a reputation for being a strong, demanding academic school. So what's your favorite subject and how will it help you when you go to college?
Let you start on that. Oh, do you want me to start? I'll start.
Yeah, let me think about that.
Yeah, I'll start. My favorite subject this year has probably been anatomy. Like I mentioned earlier, I liked biology. I've always liked the sciences, and I'm a big gym guy. I love learning how the body works, how it moves, what the best exercises are for this goal. And anatomy's right down that path. In college, I originally wanted to be a kinesiology major, which is just, for those that don't know, it's like the study of body movement and how the body functions. But that opportunity was never presented to me, so I'm kind of going down the pre-med track, which still has to do with the body and its functions, and you can turn pre-med into kinesiology in graduate school should you want to do that, which is probably the path I'm going to take. So yeah, I'm enjoying anatomy this year.
Yeah. Cool. For me, I'd say it's more of history. I'm not really sure why, but I've always been attracted to just learning more about our history and our past, whatever it may be. I think that kind of started in like sophomore year, maybe around we were taking AP World History. There was one book that we were reading that I found like incredibly interesting. And I'm hoping to pursue that in college as well. Maybe taking a major in history, possibly a double major, but either that or also psychology. I find that pretty interesting, even though I haven't taken a class in psychology. It is offered at prep, but I decided to take Euro instead of psych. But
that's European history.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say on prep being a challenging school is these. For example, the anatomy class that I'm enjoying is there's not an AP version of it. It's not that it's not offered at prep; there is no AP version at any school of anatomy. But it is because of our great teachers. Miss Owen's been a veteran at prep for forever, and she makes it harder than probably any AP I've ever taken. It's super tough class, super challenging. She really pushes you and works with you, and I think all the teachers at prep do that is they really care about you more than a lot of other schools. I think a lot of other schools you're like, oh, you're a number in a classroom, but I feel like at prep it's really more about them really wanting you to succeed in whatever class, no matter the challenge, and they push you to do your best. They know you can do better. They know you have that high B. They know you can get an A. They'll do what needs to be done to get you there.
Sure. So switching gears here to Ian. So let's talk about you and soccer. So talk about your senior soccer season and how it's going so far.
Well, for us, we're kind of in the rebuilding stages. In my sophomore year, that was probably the best year. We got to go to state. And we placed, I think, third or fourth, and that was a pretty cool experience. This year, we are 1-5, I believe. We've won one. And the games have been like 3-0, 5-0, 6-0. And we're just trying to find what works for our team this year. So we've had like multiple formations, people going from like center back, like Sam Connell. He went from center back to striker this year, trying to find the right balance between defense and offense. And for me, I think it's been really enjoyable, but this year I'm having trouble finding the balance between doing soccer and also theater and also like college stuff.
This year's been very challenging.
So
That's senior year for you.
yeah.
Yeah. Everyone said it would be easier, but it's not.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
It's not.
Yeah. I always heard the rumors that junior year was the hardest, and then you get to senior year, and no, it's definitely senior year.
Yeah.
So Ian, what position do you play in? Like, what are your responsibilities for a match on the field?
So I play as the center back, and in terms of responsibilities, you're really like the last defender.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of pressure on you, like at all times, and especially this year, I've had constant pressure, at all times, and it's been mistakes will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple mistakes have happened. I remember in the Fox Creek game, there was a insane windstorm, and I remember I was taking a goal kick, and there was a defender right in front of me, and I remember passing it to the other team right in front of me, and they just came back and scored a goal. So
I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that. I used to play travel soccer. Yeah. I have passed the ball from a goal kick directly to another player, and they've scored.
And it's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
But you just kind of have to come back from that, in any way you can. And other than that, I usually take the goal kicks. So yeah, that's really about it for a center back.
So I heard you talking about like your favorite subjects, but I want to ask you this: what are your college plans? Like, where are you going to go, and what are you going to major in? Because I think you said history and psychology. So like, what are you thinking about, or where are you thinking about going?
So right now I have about 7 colleges on my list, and my top 3 are Georgia College, Mercer, and Furman. So far, I'd say, in terms of finances, Georgia College and Furman probably seem to be the best.
Rolled in.
Yeah. Yeah. And majors, I know I'm going to get a music major.
Miss Jeannie just fist bumped on
Yeah.
fist bumped on that one.
Yeah.
Something for voice, and I've already gotten music scholarships from all 3. So I'll be doing
That's
that.
awesome.
I
I had no idea about that. That's so
actually
cool.
pretty hype.
Yeah, so I'll be doing that, and hopefully a double major. We'll see if we can make that work. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that's honestly also one of the things that prep does really well. They prepare you so well, especially if you're like involved in a lot of things for like having a double major in college.
Yes.
So
Yes. A lot of alumni, their first years, they're like, what the heck? Why is all these guys around me are just stressing out? Like, they don't know how to write a 5-page paper, but prep does prepare you just next level compared to a lot of schools for that. Whether that gets to our, blows up our heads or not, but they do a great job.
That's really cool. So what are your goals for the rest of the season, Ian? And do y'all have any like big games left? I know you said you're 1-5, but like, so what are your goals for the rest of the year?
Let's see. I think in terms of soccer, just making sure that we continue strong and we don't give up. I think that's really the biggest issue, is that we have some people wanting to do other things, which is okay, and also some people just, they might not like the soccer season this year, but just make sure we have that drive, that power to continue the season. I think that's probably one of our biggest goals. And hopefully, we've already gotten a win. I think that was a good
Boost.
mindset changer. But yeah.
And then you said you got the win. Do you have any big games left? Like, do you have any rivalries that you want to talk about?
We still have that Westminster game.
Yeah.
It got
the ultimate
moved.
rivalry.
We'll be there. We will be there. I'm bringing the baseball team.
That was supposed to be today after school, but it got moved to March 30th. So we'll be doing that. Tuesday, we have a game versus Gatewood. I believe that's a friendly. I'm not sure if that's a region game or not. But so we have that. And then Friday, we have another game against Mondon. And I won't be able to play in that game, and neither will Ethan or Seth, because we're all in the musical. So it'll be interesting for the other teammates. That's try to deal with that problem.
That's the balance you guys have to figure out.
Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. So I heard you mention the musical, so let's switch gears again. So Ms. Williams, let's talk about the music program at Prep.
Absolutely. Well, I have the privilege for 21 years now to have been teaching music at Prep. So I actually am really enjoying watching these guys chat with you, because some of the kids I have starting when they're 3 years old. And I get to really experience all of their growth and success, throughout their years. So I teach pre-K through 12th grade music. Our upper school chorus meets at 7:10 in the morning before school even starts, so that the kids that are involved in chorus can also participate in all of these other amazing things that they're doing. So I'm the music director for the musical as well. We're doing Into the Woods this week, Friday and Saturday, and it's super exciting. But as Ian was saying, they'll miss a soccer game on Friday for the show. We have 85% of our kids that are in the musical also play a sport. So it is a huge challenge. We're working around tennis, we're working around soccer, we're working around earlier when we did auditions in January, I was coaching cheer and teaching music, and so a big chunk of cheerleaders that also are in the musical. We're balancing a lot. We still have tennis and other sports going on, baseball as well, and so it can be a challenge. But as far as the music is concerned, it's just a lot of fun to get to teach them and watch them grow over the years.
Yeah.
So,
and if I could jump in,
please.
I have to say that while there are a lot of people that do musical and also sports, every year, musical is always so fun, and it always seems to come together, even when it may seem impossible. But yeah, that's just one of the things that Prep has.
Credits to the teachers for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Takes a lot of work.
Yep. For sure. I went to a small private school, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So I wanted to ask you and Ian, actually, you said the play's Into the Woods. What's the play about? And what's your role in the play, Ian?
Leaking here.
Yeah. So Into the Woods is kind of the Brother Grimm fairy tale story. There's Cinderella, there's Little Red Riding Hood, there's Rapunzel. It's kind of a story about a baker and his wife and who have met up with a witch in the woods and discovered that she has put a curse on them and they can't have a child. And so along their journey through the woods, they meet characters like Rapunzel and Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf. And with the goal of collecting the things that they need, Jack and the Beanstalk. And so it's just kind of a fun little journey situation where they have to collect, a red cape and a milky white cow. And so different things from the characters from the other music or the other nursery rhyme kind of Brothers Grimm. It's a huge show. Stephen Sondheim wrote the music for it. So it is a full-length musical, which is something interesting that a lot of schools don't do that we do try to do every year, when that's put on a full Broadway version of a musical. And so typically they're over 2 hours long. We went through 350 pages of music to get this one accomplished. And a lot of soloists. So we have a lot of kids that sing, kind of like what Chris was saying with baseball. We have a lot of freshmen that we're already relying on, and we even have some middle schoolers involved as like part of our ensemble group. So it takes a village to put it on. We have kids that do tech. We have kids that do lights and sound. We have kids that are painting, the set design on stage. Mr. Miller is our tech director. Mr. Mack is our theater director. So it's kind of a collaborative effort with all of us. And it happens after school. They don't even get to do it during the day. So it's just a couple hours every day after school. And we're working around, so-and-so's not going to be here today. Somebody needs to stand in. They've got a soccer game, or so-and-so's not going to be here for tennis. Still, like Ian said, we managed to put it all together. This week, our challenge is that State Literary is the same week as our spring musical. So a big chunk of our kids, we have our dress rehearsal today, where we get to put our mics on for the first time. Tomorrow, I drive the bus and we go to Forsyth, Georgia overnight, and we perform for State Literary. We'll be gone Tuesday and all day Wednesday. We won't get back till about 11 on Wednesday. Thursday, we do our second dress rehearsal, and Friday is show day. So it's a really big week for the kids. Last year we won State Literary, so we're going back with everybody's looking out for us, right? You're going kind of with that bullet. It's just everybody's watching to see what we're going to come with. So I don't know how these guys do it. They do all of their academics and being in a musical and playing a sport and keeping up their grades. They communicate well with their teachers. But I do think it's really a collaborative effort between the teachers, the students. Our administration, I think, is super, super, supportive, not just of athletics, but of arts, which is really awesome because you really can do everything at prep and be involved however you want to be involved. I get to teach music and be in the fine arts and coach cheer and be in the sports and do NHS and do, academic, the side of things. So it's just a really exciting time in the spring for us. So
it sounds hectic, for sure.
It is.
So Ian, what's your role in said musical?
My role is the Cinderella. I'm Cinderella's prince.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be Cinderella for a second. I was like, no way.
That's an interesting rendition.
I'm coming to watch that.
You have to come watch it. Don't want to give too much away, but at some point, Ian rips his shirt open.
Oh, I cannot wait. I'm excited now.
It's gonna be awesome.
So, Miss Williams, when I think you said it'll be on Friday when y'all open. So, how can folks that are listening to this get tickets to said show?
Oh, okay. They can go on our website, augustaprep.org, and purchase tickets. I believe it's $10 if you're not a prep student, but otherwise, prep faculty and staff and students can have a free ticket to come and see it. we would love to have people from the community come support us. We have one show Friday night at 7 p.m. and 2 shows on Saturday, one at 2 p.m. and one at 7 p.m. Saturday's really special. We celebrate our seniors. I think we have 12 seniors graduating. So after the show, we say a little something about every single one of our seniors. It's pretty emotional. We, like I said, we've had some of these kids for so long and watched them develop their skills. And so we would encourage people to come out and support the fine arts at Prep. We have a beautiful fine arts center, whole fine arts center, easy to find on our campus. So come out Friday at 7 and enjoy a show.
Yeah, definitely come out and see it. So I know you were talking about music. Is there anything else you want to tell us about working with students in music? I know you said you work with them from 3K to 12. So is that the highlight of it, or is there anything else?
You remember middle school me, don't you?
I do.
The demon that was middle school Sebastian.
Let me just tell you the stories I have of all of our beautiful students. Well, I just think it's really special that the week after our spring musical is the Lower School World Fair. So we have kids from preschool through 4th grade singing songs from, I think, 9 different languages and performing instruments and everything. So I think what I love most about music at Prep is just that we have the freedom to be creative. You don't get that everywhere. And we get to be creative and encourage kids. And a lot of times, kids end up doing something that they didn't know they would even be good at, but they gave it a try. And I feel that way about our music program. We have a lot of kids that try it once just because a friend has said, hey, you should do it for fun with us. And then they end up, like Ian, this year deciding to do music in college, which is just awesome. I got the chance to write his recommendation, so I'm super proud of him. So
that's awesome. We're both grinning from ear to ear for those that are listening. So you said it earlier. You're also the cheerleading coach. Does your team cheer competitively, and are they mainly focused on supporting preps like various teams, or is it like competitive?
Right. We are not a competitive squad yet. That's our goal. We do stunts, and so they perform pep rallies and dances, at each game. We have a really hard-working group of girls that love to just go out during football season. We have support our football team. During basketball, we support boys and girls basketball. So we have an opportunity to really just, get involved, get the fans involved, support our school in a different way. For some kids that don't play other sports, it's a good opportunity to find a way to be involved in the athletics. But we've got some girls on our squad that are small in size but mighty in strength and can lift people above their heads and do all kinds of cool stunts. And so we like to do that for the pep rallies and show some things off. So I've done that for 6 years now. And when we first started, we weren't stunting yet. And now we are. So it's a growing program. And we're really excited about it.
That's improvement. So talk about the senior cheerleaders and what they've meant to like the program, since you said you've been doing it for 6 years, so you've had them for all 4. Where are they headed to college, or are any of them going to college for cheer, or is it just what's going on there?
I don't know that any will cheer in college unless they're doing it with intramurals and things of that nature. We have girls going anywhere from University of Alabama, which I'm an Auburn fan, so that was hard to even say out loud, to USC. We have a couple girls going to USC and Columbia. And we had 5 strong seniors that really kind of led our team. Some of them had cheered all 4 years, both seasons, all 4 years, so 8 seasons with them. So they will truly, truly be missed. But more exciting than even having to say goodbye to our seniors is that we have a group of younger girls, kind of like what Chris said, that they're coming up underneath them with that great role model that they had in the senior class and already have great ideas of how to make the program grow. And so you can actually follow us on APDS_cheer for Instagram if you would like. But, our seniors work hard and they set a good example for the younger kids. And they're very patient leaders. And I think that's really important when you have a lot of kids coming into a sport that haven't done it before, that you've got people that are patient. Kind of like Sebastian was saying, sometimes they don't want to hear it, but just being the person there to motivate them and challenge them to do better. And that's what our seniors do. So I appreciate all of them for that.
So before we wrap things up, I guess this could be for anybody, but Coach Gay and Miss Williams, does anybody else have anything to say that they want to say to the listeners? Any shout outs y'all want to give to anybody? This is your moment in the sun. I mean, you can shout out your mom, dad, friends,
Oh,
anything
your
right
mom,
here.
Dad. I would just encourage anybody that doesn't have a student at Augusta Prep to come check us out. Just it's very easy to do a tour at Augusta Prep, and both of my kids have come up through prep since they were 3. I have a daughter that graduated in 2019, and kind of what Sebastian was saying earlier, felt very prepared for college. It is an incredible experience for my son, who's a current 9th grader. And whatever preconceived notions people might have, I think they just need to come out and take a tour and see what it's like, because for a lot of kids, I think it's life-changing, and they get some opportunities that they might not have been afforded before. And I just want to give a shout out to our 2 kiddos that are here, because it really, they're the cream of the crop. We're so proud of them, and we're so proud of all of our seniors, and can't wait for them to come back as alumni and share with us all of the celebrations that they have. And so,
me field, Coach K.
Just being here today and sharing in this opportunity, thank you, because it gives us a chance to really highlight them. So I appreciate it.
No problem.
And
What do you want to say, Mr. Gay?
I think the neat thing about Augusta Prep is that you look at Ian and you look at Sebastian and we live in a day and age where everything's specialized. You have like travel basketball or travel this or travel that, or some kids just do theater. And, it's neat to see, like, even though I don't coach Ian, it's neat to see him do many different things. He's a great vocalist. He's a great thespian. I think the first time my parents saw him on stage, they thought he was probably in his mid-20s to mid to late 20s, just because of that booming voice.
Guys should. It is impressive.
But I mean, like, how many places could Sebastian go where he could sign up for track? I mean, he could have done soccer, if he wanted. I mean, he could have done football if he wanted. So, I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities, and it's neat. I mean, yeah, we always are looking for students. We're always looking for students, but we're looking for students who, might want to do other things, do extracurriculars. I mean, whether that's theater or whether that's, something artistic or athletic. But at prep, you can kind of maybe not do it all, but you can do a lot. And it's, I've got 3 kids at prep, and they've sort of dabbled in a lot of different things, and it's been a great experience. And I've been at prep for 5 years, and it's just family feel. And you've got great kids like Ian and Sebastian, and we're not perfect, but we do a lot of things right. And I enjoy being at prep, and I would hope anyone who's a prospective student or prospective parent might just give us a look.
Another shout out to Ian, because he's missing Euro for this. His favorite class. But I did want to quickly say one more thing about Rhodes that I forgot to mention, which is a huge deal in Division III athletics. Is Rhodes has become the first Division III school to have an NIL deal. And so NIL is starting to, you typically only see it at big Division I schools where they're, the quarterback's making $3 million in NIL deals a year or something crazy. But it has gotten down to the Division III level now. And Rhodes partnered with a company called Get Mogul, and they're now well on their way to their athletes being represented. And going to make a little bit of money, which is super exciting, not just for me, but for Division III and as a whole. So I just wanted to mention that.
I'd just like to say, just as a shout out for all faculty and teachers at prep, they do so much for their students after school, before school. If a student needs help, they're there for them. I've had multiple occasions where I've had to come and get extra help, especially Mr. Schaefer, Mr. Mason. And teachers at prep are always there for their students, so thank you.
That's awesome to hear. So that'll wrap up our show for today. Thank you for listening. CavsCast is a production of Augusta Prep Athletics and the Department of Communication at Augusta University. The producers are Dr. Timothy Williams and Ethan Balducci. The coordinating producer is Dr. David Bulla, and I'm Joshua Picklesheimer, your host. Thanks to Mr. Rory Bradley, the athletic director at Prep, for his support of the podcast. Stay tuned for our podcast in a few weeks, or the next podcast. You can find us on YouTube and other social media. Have a great day, and listen again soon. We're out.